It's 2:14 a.m. You should be asleep. But your brain? Did I say something wrong earlier? What if I mess up tomorrow's meeting? Why do I feel like everyone secretly hates me? And even though you're exhausted, your mind keeps running marathons you never signed up for. Why does this happen? Why can't your brain just... Shut up. You're not crazy. You're not broken. You're just dealing with something we all do, overthinking. And in this video, I'll help you understand why your thoughts feel loud, what your brain is really trying to do, and how to finally start finding peace. One night where my brain just refused to rest. I had a presentation the next morning. It was important. And instead of sleeping early and feeling rested, I lay in bed overanalyzing every slide, every sentence, every possible way I could mess up. Then I started spiraling backwards. That mistake I made last week, that thing I said in a group chat that got no replies. Even childhood stuff came up. Random, heavy, uncontrollable. My heart wasn't racing, my breathing was fine, but my mind was so loud, it felt like I was drowning in my own thoughts. I wanted to cry, but I was too mentally exhausted to even feel properly. And the worst part, I knew it was irrational, but I couldn't stop. Your brain's primary job isn't to make you happy, it's to keep you safe, which means it's constantly scanning for danger, even when there is no danger at all. Psychologists call this the default mode network, the part of your brain that activates when you're not focused on a task. It replays past events, imagines future outcomes, analyzes social interactions, and often overanalyzes. This part of your brain evolved to help us avoid danger and make better decisions. But in modern life, it becomes a trap. You're not in danger, but your brain still acts like it has to be on guard. That's why your mind doesn't shut up when you're trying to sleep, because it finally has no distractions, and the default mode kicks into overdrive. Common signs you're stuck in mental chatter mode. If these sound familiar, you're not alone. Replaying conversations, even from years ago, imagining every worst-case scenario before an event, struggling to turn off your brain at night, constantly analyzing how people might perceive you, feeling mentally drained even when you've done nothing. That's not weakness. It's a sign that your nervous system is stuck in a low-grade fight-or-flight loop without any real threat. What your brain is really trying to do, it's trying to protect you. Overthinking is your brain's way of trying to predict outcomes so you don't get hurt, trying to control uncertainty so you feel safer, trying to prevent embarrassment, failure, or pain. It's not evil, it's actually trying to help. It just doesn't know when to stop. The problem is this mental overdrive ends up causing exactly what it tries to prevent: exhaustion, self-doubt, emotional paralysis, and even physical symptoms like brain fog and chest tightness. 3 tools to quiet the mind and why they work. Let's talk about what helped me that night and what's helped me since. Tool number 1, name the spiral. The moment you notice your thoughts spiraling, literally say out loud or in your head, "This is overthinking. My brain is trying to protect me." Naming it shifts you from being inside the storm to observing the storm. That small gap gives you power. It's backed by neuroscience too. Labeling emotions reduces amygdala activity, the part of your brain responsible for emotional alarm bells. Tool number 2, body before brain. You cannot think your way out of an anxious mind. You have to move through it. Try a short walk, even in circles, cold water on your face, deep breathing while moving your body, like shaking your arms or stretching. When you change your physical state, your mental state follows. The brain listens to the body more than you think. Tool number 3. Ask, is this useful? Not, is it true? Because even irrational thoughts feel true. Instead, ask, is this thought helping me right now? This shifts you into metacognition, thinking about your thinking. It gives you a filter to separate helpful mental patterns from the ones that are just noise. If the answer is no, gently redirect. You don't have to debate the thought. You just don't have to feed it. What helped me the most wasn't meditation or mantras or pretending to be calm. It was realizing that I'm not broken for having a loud mind. That my brain is wired for survival, not peace. And that peace is something I can practice, not something I have to wait for. So now, when my thoughts start spinning, I don't fight them. I just say, hey brain, I see you. Thank you for trying to protect me, but I'm safe now. And that tiny moment of compassion, it softens everything. What's something your brain always overthinks, even though you know it doesn't help? Let me know in the comments because someone else out there probably feels the same way, and your story might make them feel a little less alone. You replay every message you send. You second guess every decision. You ask friends, then Google, then yourself again, and still feel unsure. Am I making the right choice? Did I say the wrong thing? Why do I always need reassurance? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Because overthinking isn't just a bad habit. It's a signal. A signal that something deeper inside you doesn't feel safe or sure. I remember this one day. It sounds small, but it stuck with me. I was shopping for a dress. There were 2 options. I liked both, but I stood in that changing room frozen. What if one was too much? What if the other was too boring? What if I wore the wrong one and regretted it all night? It sounds ridiculous, right? But I wasn't really afraid of the dress. I was afraid of being judged, of standing out, of making the wrong choice and confirming that voice in my head that said, you don't know what you're doing. That's when I realized I didn't have a dress problem. I had a self-trust problem. Here's what many people miss. Overthinking rarely has to do with the thing you're thinking about. It's about you. More specifically, how you see yourself. People who struggle with chronic overthinking often grew up feeling like their mistakes had big consequences, being told they were too sensitive or too much, getting love or approval only when they were good, being constantly corrected or criticized, even gently. So what happens? You start internalizing a message, I can't trust myself. I need to run every decision through a filter. I need someone else to validate me before I act. Overthinking becomes a safety net. You believe if you analyze something enough, you won't get hurt. But that safety net often becomes a prison. Signs your overthinking is rooted in self-worth. You constantly ask others what they think before acting. You fear making wrong decisions, even small ones. You struggle to set boundaries or say no without guilt. You mentally rehearse how others might judge your actions. You feel anxious after speaking your mind, replaying every word. This isn't about logic. It's about identity. Overthinking isn't just mental. It's emotional. It's the brain's way of saying, I don't feel safe being myself. What your overthinking is trying to do. It's trying to keep you from embarrassment, rejection, criticism, feeling not good enough. But the irony, it actually makes those fears stronger. You start shrinking your life, avoiding action, staying stuck in mental rehearsals instead of real movement. And worst of all, you miss out on confidence, because confidence doesn't come from being right. It comes from acting and realizing you'll be okay even if you're not perfect. 3 ways to unlock self-trust and calm your mind. Tool number 1, make small decisions fast, on purpose. Start small. When ordering food or choosing an outfit, give yourself 10 seconds. Pick, commit, don't look back. This builds decision momentum. You teach your brain, I don't need to earn my choices through suffering. Tool number 2, create a self-trust journal. Each night, write down 1 to 2 choices you made that turned out fine or even great, even simple ones. You're rewiring your brain to notice evidence that you're not a disaster, that most of your decisions work out just fine. Tool number 3, use this thought interrupt with even if I'm wrong. Say, even if I'm wrong, I'll learn. Even if I mess up, I'll survive. Even if they don't like it, I'll still like me. You're not aiming for perfection. You're aiming for growth. And growth requires movement, not mental stalling. You know what helped me? Realizing that my self-doubt wasn't weakness. It was learned. It came from a younger version of me that thought she had to be perfect to be loved. So now, when I overthink, I talk to that younger version of me. I tell her, you don't need to perform. You're allowed to choose. I've got you now. And slowly, the noise quiets. Not all at once, but enough to move forward without fear. What's one decision, big or small, that you totally overthought recently? How did it turn out? Drop your story in the comments. You never know who might see it and think, wow, me too.
You have things to do. You know what needs to be done. But for some reason, you just can't. You're tired, even after resting. You scroll more than you'd like to admit. You beat yourself up with thoughts like, why can't I just get it together? Am I lazy, unmotivated, broken? But what if I told you, you're not lazy? You're just mentally exhausted. There was a time when I thought something was wrong with me. I couldn't finish tasks. Simple things, replying to emails, folding laundry, showing up for plans, felt like climbing a mountain. And I remember saying to a friend, I don't know what's happening. I feel like I'm disappearing inside myself. She asked me one question that changed everything. When was the last time you felt safe just being still? And that's when it hit me. I wasn't lazy. I was mentally drained. I had been running on empty for so long, I didn't even realize I was burned out, not bored. The psychology of mental exhaustion. Let's get something clear. Laziness is a choice. Exhaustion is a condition. Mental exhaustion happens when your brain is stuck in chronic survival mode. It's processing emotional stress, decision fatigue, social expectations, information overload, and internal self-criticism. The result? Your nervous system downshifts. It's like your brain says, if I can't escape the pressure, I'll shut everything down. And that shutdown looks like laziness, but it's not. It's protective withdrawal. Signs you're not lazy, just burnt out. You sleep, but don't feel rested. You procrastinate out of emotional exhaustion, not disinterest. You avoid tasks you used to enjoy. You feel guilty for wasting time, but can't stop. You have random bursts of energy followed by long crashes. These aren't signs of low discipline. They're signs of nervous system overload. Why this happens even to high-functioning people. If you've always been a high achiever, people pleaser, or perfectionist, burnout hits even harder because you've built your identity on being productive. So when your brain can't keep up, you don't rest, you shame yourself. I used to be so disciplined. What's wrong with me lately? Everyone else is handling life better than me. But the truth is, you're still that same capable person. You're just maxed out emotionally, and you can't out-discipline exhaustion. You have to heal it. 3 ways to recharge without forcing productivity. Tool number 1, the 3% rule. Don't aim for 100%. Aim for just 3% more effort than yesterday. If getting out of bed was hard, today maybe you stretch. If you avoided emails yesterday, today you reply to 1. 3% momentum adds up, and it builds trust with your brain again without pushing it into panic. Tool number 2, replace pressure with permission. Instead of saying, I have to do this, say, I'm allowed to ease into this. This sounds small, but it shifts your internal voice from drill sergeant to ally. And healing starts when your mind feels safe, not when it feels bullied. And tool number 3, schedule nothing on purpose. This one changed my life. Block out time in your calendar where you're not allowed to be productive. No chores, no work, just being, even if it's just 30 minutes. You're telling your nervous system, you don't have to earn rest. You're allowed to exist without output. That message alone calms the storm more than any productivity hack ever will. I used to think motivation was about pushing harder, but healing taught me motivation comes when you feel safe, not when you feel scared. The day I gave myself permission to move slowly, everything shifted. I didn't bounce back overnight, but I stopped spiraling, and I started believing that I wasn't broken, I was just tired. So if you're tired right now, it's okay. You don't need to get your act together. You just need to treat your mind the way you'd treat a friend who's been through too much. With softness, with care, with grace. Have you ever mistaken burnout for laziness? What was the moment you realized something deeper was going on? Share your story. You might give someone else the clarity they've been needing.
You leave a conversation. 5 minutes later, your brain goes into analysis mode. Did that sound weird? Was that joke too much? Why did I say that? What do they think of me now? You keep replaying the same 5 seconds over and over. And even when nothing went wrong, you still feel off. Sound familiar? You're not dramatic. You're not crazy. You're experiencing post-conversation anxiety, and it's a lot more common than people admit. I was at a casual dinner sharing a story I thought was funny, but halfway through, I noticed someone's expression change. I panicked inside. Did I say something offensive? Was I talking too much? After dinner, my brain would not let it go. I replayed it for hours. I even typed out a message apologizing and deleted it. Twice. The truth? Nobody remembered it. Nobody cared. But my brain kept making it feel huge. Because for me, it wasn't just a story. It was a test. Was I too much? Was I annoying? Did I mess up being liked? That's when I realized I wasn't anxious about the conversation. I was anxious about being rejected. Why your brain replays social moments? This habit is called rumination, and it's linked to social self-preservation. Your brain's job is to protect your place in the tribe. Back when we lived in groups, rejection meant danger. So even today, your brain treats every awkward moment like it's a threat. That's why even tiny things like a weird joke, a silent moment, or a tone shift get exaggerated. Was that eye roll about me? Did they pause too long before responding? Should I have said it differently? It's not your logic talking, it's your social survival brain. Most post-conversation spirals boil down to fear of being liked, fear of being misunderstood, fear of taking up too much space, fear of violating some invisible social rule. It's not about the words. It's about worthiness. And if your self-worth depends on constant approval, your brain will keep searching for signs that you messed up, even when you didn't. Signs you're stuck in a rumination loop. You replay the same few seconds of a convo over and over. You rewrite how you should have said something. You ask friends to validate if it was weird. You avoid people after an interaction just in case. You feel anxiety even when others act totally normal. If any of these sound familiar, it's not just overthinking. It's emotional hypervigilance. 3 ways to break the conversation replay cycle. Tool number 1, close the file. When the loop starts, say out loud or silently, "That file is closed. I said what I said, and I'm allowed to exist." It's a boundary for your own mind. You're signaling that you no longer owe yourself an apology for being human. Tool number 2, create a reality checklist. Have a note in your phone with reminders like, "They didn't seem upset. No one is rewatching this but me. I'm allowed to make imperfect comments. Social anxiety distorts memory. I can't trust my emotional replay." Revisit it when the replay starts. Let facts ground you, not feelings. Tool number 3, redirect with curiosity. Ask yourself, what did I enjoy about that conversation? What was something kind, funny, or warm that happened? You're teaching your brain to focus on connection, not just danger. Over time, this rewires your memory of social moments to be more balanced and less hostile. What helped me the most wasn't being perfect. It was realizing I don't need to be perfectly received to be worthy. People might not always understand me. Some moments might land awkwardly, but that doesn't make me unlikable or wrong or broken. It makes me real. And being real means letting go of the need to mentally edit your past just to feel safe. So now when I feel that replay starting, I say, I was just being me. And that's enough. And it is. What's a conversation you couldn't stop replaying, and how did you finally let it go? Or what's something you wish someone had told you when you were overthinking everything? Let me know in the comments. Your insight might help someone break their own spiral.
Someone doesn't text back. You immediately think, they're mad at me. I must have done something wrong. They hate me now. You get a vague message from your boss. Your brain goes, am I getting fired? Did I mess something up? What if everything crashes? Even when things are calm, your mind scans for what might go wrong. This isn't just being negative or dramatic. It's called catastrophizing, and it's a survival response. I was texting someone I really liked. We had a great conversation. But then suddenly, they didn't reply. 1 hour passed, then 3, then the whole night. My brain went into full panic mode. They're not interested anymore. Maybe I said something weird. They realized I'm too much. By the time I woke up the next morning, I had emotionally detached from the entire connection, just to protect myself. And then they replied, sorry, I fell asleep. You good? I had spent 12 hours breaking up with someone in my head, over nothing. That's when I realized I wasn't reacting to reality. I was reacting to an old belief. Good things don't last. Something always goes wrong. Why your brain expects the worst. Your brain is a prediction machine. Its goal? Keep you safe. And if you've been through unpredictable relationships, past betrayals or trauma, emotional neglect or criticism, situations where calm suddenly turn to chaos, then your brain starts associating calm with danger. So now, even when things feel fine, you get anxious because a part of you believes this can't be real. Something bad is about to happen. This is called anticipatory anxiety, and it's a form of self-protection. Many of us grew up with emotional inconsistency. Parents who were kind one moment, critical the next. Environments where love had conditions. Friendships that turned cold overnight. So we learned to prepare for emotional impact, to constantly scan for threats, to mentally rehearse disasters, not because we were negative, but because we wanted to feel in control. But now, that survival pattern is just keeping us tired. Signs you're stuck in a worst-case scenario loop. You imagine detailed disasters about small things. You downplay good news because you don't want to jinx it. You avoid hope because it feels dangerous. You expect rejection or failure before it happens. You mentally rehearse your life falling apart often. This isn't you being weak. It's your nervous system trying to pre-feel pain to make it more manageable. But it doesn't work. It just keeps you disconnected from peace. 3 ways to train your brain for peace, not panic. Tool number 1. Name the pattern, not the thought. Instead of debating the thought, what if this happens? Say, I'm catastrophizing again. This simple label creates distance. It reminds your brain, we've done this before and it wasn't real. It's not about stopping the thought. It's about breaking your belief in it. Tool number 2, practice opposite imagination. If your brain loves worst-case scenarios, try this. Every time you imagine something going horribly wrong, force yourself to imagine it going amazingly right. Yes, it'll feel fake at first, but it retrains your brain to see possibility, not just pain. You're building mental flexibility, and flexible brains recover faster from anxiety spirals. Tool number 3, use the proof list. Write down 5 things that went better than you expected in the past month. Reread this list when your mind spirals. You're teaching your brain, sometimes good things do happen, and I didn't need to prepare for disaster to survive. That's how you build evidence against the fear. For the longest time, peace made me nervous. I thought it was fake, fragile, temporary. So I'd sabotage it, overthink it, distance myself from it. But what helped me shift was realizing that my fear of peace wasn't about peace. It was about what happened after peace, the pain that followed, when I wasn't ready. Now I remind myself, it's okay to let this moment be good. It's okay to feel calm, even if I don't know what's next. I don't have to ruin something just to feel safe. And when I let the good moments be good, life feels a lot less like a threat and a lot more like a gift. Have you ever ruined a good moment in your mind just by expecting it to fall apart? What helped you come back to calm? Let me know in the comments. Someone might really need your wisdom today.
It's late. You're finally in bed. Lights off, phone down. But your mind. Did I forget something? What if tomorrow goes wrong? Why did I say that earlier? What am I even doing with my life? You toss, you turn, you keep checking the clock. And the more you try to sleep, the more your brain wakes up. It's like your thoughts saved their most chaotic performance for 2 a.m. Sound familiar? If so, you're not broken. You're experiencing something called sleep anxiety, and it's a lot more common than people admit. There was a stretch of time where I dreaded going to bed. Not because I wasn't tired, but because I knew I wouldn't fall asleep easily. I'd lie there, eyes closed, hoping this would be the night. But instead, my mind would fill with overdue tasks, conversations I regretted, imagined disasters, existential dread. I'd scroll for distraction, I'd count imaginary sheep. I even tried melatonin, sleep playlists, and white noise. Nothing worked because the issue wasn't physical, it was psychological. I didn't need sleep hacks. I needed to make my mind feel safe again. Why your brain races at night? During the day, your mind is distracted. Work, tasks, conversations, content, noise. But at night, silence. And in that silence, your default mode network kicks in, the brain region responsible for self-reflection, memory, and future simulation. Basically, the overthinking zone. If your brain isn't used to being still, silence feels dangerous. So it fills the gap with thoughts, worries, loops, what ifs. And if you already deal with anxiety during the day, your brain views night as unstructured threat time. Signs you're dealing with sleep anxiety. You dread bedtime even when you're tired. You check the time obsessively. If I fall asleep now, I'll get 4 hours. You feel physically tired but mentally wide awake. You ruminate on everything that went wrong or might go wrong. You've developed rituals or distractions just to survive the night. This isn't laziness, it's your nervous system still in high alert even when the day is over. The worst thing you can do is try harder to sleep. Because sleep isn't something you do, it's something you allow. And trying to force it only activates more stress hormones like cortisol. That creates a feedback loop. You overthink, you get anxious about not sleeping, the anxiety keeps you awake, you overthink more. Your body can't rest if it doesn't feel safe. So the solution isn't sedation, it's safety. 4 tools to quiet your mind at night. Technique 1, the brain dump ritual. Before bed, take 10 minutes to write out everything on your mind. Worries, tasks, regrets, random thoughts, all of it. This tells your brain, we've stored this. We don't need to hold it anymore. Research shows that expressive writing before bed reduces rumination and improves sleep quality. It's not about solving anything, it's about releasing the weight. Technique 2, change your inner tone. Most of us lie in bed thinking, why can't I just sleep? Ugh, not again. I'm going to be exhausted tomorrow. Replace that with, it's okay that I'm awake right now. My body is still resting even if I'm not asleep. Nothing bad is happening, I'm just thinking. This simple turn shift reduces the emotional charge, and that's what calms the nervous system. Technique 3, safe sensory anchoring. Pick one physical sensation and anchor to it gently. Try feeling your breath rise and fall, placing one hand on your chest and one on your stomach, noticing the weight of your blanket. Or listening to a calm sound, rain, heartbeat, wind. You're signaling to your brain, we're not in danger, we're in bed. It brings you out of your thoughts and back into your body. Technique 4, let go of the sleep timeline. This one is hard, but crucial. If you stop seeing sleep as a test to pass, your body relaxes. Tell yourself, even if I just lie here calmly, that's still rest. Even if I don't sleep right now, I'll be okay. Paradoxically, giving up on sleep often leads to falling asleep faster because the pressure is gone. What helped me the most was realizing sleep wasn't about knocking myself out, it was about giving my body permission to soften. Now when I feel the spiral start, I don't fight it. I do a brain dump. I tell myself, we're okay, there's no emergency, and I let myself rest, even if my brain's still talking a little bit. Sometimes I still get stuck, but more often than not, I fall asleep without realizing it. Not because I forced it, but because I stopped demanding it. What's something that helps you calm your mind at night, even if you don't fall asleep right away? Let me know in the comments. Your tip might become someone else's favorite nighttime ritual. You get things done. You meet deadlines, you show up, you're responsible. From the outside, you look like you've got it all together. But inside, your mind is racing. Your stomach's tight. You can't relax, even when everything's fine. And the scariest part, it all feels normal. That was me. For years, I didn't know I had anxiety because I was functioning. I didn't collapse, I performed. But functioning isn't the same as thriving. People used to say I was the organized one. Always early, always prepared, always calm. What they didn't know was I woke up with a tight chest almost every day. I mentally rehearsed every conversation before having it. I couldn't sit still without guilt. My brain treated rest as a weakness. One day a friend asked me, "Do you ever actually relax?" And I laughed. I thought she was joking. But I realized I didn't even know how. I wasn't calm. I was just managing constant inner chaos really, really well. And that's when I found the term high-functioning anxiety. It was like someone turned the lights on in my brain. What is high-functioning anxiety? High-functioning anxiety is anxiety that hides behind productivity. You're anxious, but it doesn't look like panic attacks or meltdowns. It looks like overworking, overplanning, overthinking, overachieving. You don't fall apart. You keep performing even when your nervous system is screaming inside. That's why it's so dangerous. It hides in plain sight. And people praise you for the symptoms of your anxiety. Signs you might have high-functioning anxiety. You can't relax unless everything is done, and it's never done. You procrastinate, then panic perform. You fear disappointing people more than you miss your own needs. You replay conversations after succeeding at something. You feel calm only when there's something to fix, plan, or manage. You live in a constant low-level hum of pressure. And you might have accepted that as just how I am. But it's not personality. It's coping. Why high-functioning anxiety develops. Most of us who carried this kind of anxiety grew up in environments where achievement equals love, perfection equals safety, calm equals laziness, mistakes equals shame. So we learned early on, if I stay sharp, alert, and busy, I'm okay. Our nervous system never got to downshift, and now as adults, our bodies don't know how to rest without guilt. 3 ways to start calming high-functioning anxiety. Tool number 1, redefine what relaxing means. People with high-functioning anxiety often think relaxing equals being unproductive. But true rest is restorative, not lazy. Try reframing it like this. Rest is a strategic reset, not a reward I have to earn. Even scheduling 10 minutes of intentional calm trains your nervous system to tolerate peace without guilt. Tool number 2, practice micro messiness. Let small things go on purpose. Leave a dish in the sink. Send a message without rereading it 5 times. Let someone else take the lead on something minor. Each time you do this, you're breaking the belief, I have to control everything to be safe. You're proving to your mind that nothing collapses when you don't micromanage every detail. Tool number 3. Replace panic-driven to-do lists with priority filters. Instead of trying to do everything, ask, if I only get 3 things done today, what actually matters? High-functioning anxiety often stems from unrealistic self-expectation. Narrowing your focus reduces the overwhelm and helps you reconnect to what's actually important. For the longest time, my anxiety gave me results. People respected me. I was seen as capable, dependable, strong. But inside, I was cracking. The day I realized that I deserved peace, even if I didn't earn it, everything shifted. Now, I still get things done, but I don't sacrifice myself on the altar of productivity anymore. And slowly, I'm becoming someone who doesn't just survive the day, but actually enjoys it. Do you relate to high-functioning anxiety? What are the subtle signs that show up in your daily life, and what's helped you start healing? Share in the comments. Your story might be someone else's mirror.
You have the idea, you know what you want, but when it's time to begin, something holds you back. It's not the right time. I need to plan a little more. I just don't feel ready yet. So you wait, and wait, and wait. Weeks pass, then months, and that thing you care about, still untouched. Here's the truth most people don't tell you. You're probably never going to feel ready, because readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. I once spent an entire year building a digital course. Outlines, slides, scripts, design, branding, everything. It was ready, but I kept telling myself, I'll launch it when I feel more confident. Maybe I should tweak the content a bit more. I just don't want to mess this up. So I kept waiting for that magical day when I'd wake up and feel 100% confident. That day never came. What finally pushed me? A friend said, "You don't trust the work because you don't trust yourself." That stung, but it was true. I wasn't protecting the project. I was protecting me from the possibility of rejection. That's when I realized waiting wasn't about the task. It was about the fear underneath it. Your brain is wired to protect you from discomfort. And starting something new equals uncertainty, exposure, risk. So instead of saying, "I'm scared I'll fail," your brain says, "We need to prepare more. It's not the right time. You should wait until it's perfect." This is called emotional avoidance disguised as productivity. You're busy, but not moving. And perfectionism is just procrastination in a prettier outfit. Signs you're trapped in the readiness loop. You keep researching instead of executing. You set deadlines and push them over and over. You get overwhelmed by needing it to be perfect. You fear being exposed as unqualified. You envy people who are less ready than you, but are already doing it. If this is you, you don't have a motivation problem. You have a fear of being seen problem. And it's time to stop rehearsing and start showing up. 3 ways to move forward without feeling ready. Shrink the start. Don't aim to launch the project or start the business. Instead, ask, what is the smallest next action I can do in 5 minutes? Open the doc, write the first sentence, upload the file, record a 10-second voice note. Action creates momentum, and momentum builds confidence, not the other way around. Use the "what if I don't" mirror. Your brain loves to ask, what if I fail?
What if it doesn't work? What if people judge me? But flip it. What if I don't start? What does my life look like if I stay here for another year? What dream slowly dies if I keep waiting? Fear doesn't leave, but regret echoes louder than rejection ever will. Let B- work exist. This one changed everything for me. I gave myself permission to create B- work, especially at the start, because getting it done imperfectly is infinitely more powerful than not doing it at all. You can't edit a blank page. You can't improve a project that doesn't exist. And done will teach you more than perfect ever will. I wish I could tell you I felt totally confident when I launched. I didn't. My hands were shaking, my inner critic was screaming, but I did it anyway, and something magical happened. Not only did it go better than I expected, but I realized that I was the only thing standing in my way. Now, every time I feel stuck, I don't ask if I'm ready. I ask if I'm brave enough to start before I am. That's what changes everything. What's something you've been waiting to start? And what's one small step you can take this week? Share it in the comments. Say it out loud. Let this be your sign that readiness is no longer a requirement, just a story.
You know those days where everything hits at once? Your phone won't stop buzzing. You forgot something important. Someone you love is upset. Deadlines are looming. You're behind on rest. And suddenly, your mind just spirals. I can't do this. Everything's falling apart. Why am I like this? I'm so overwhelmed. The thoughts race. Your chest tightens, and even simple decisions feel impossible. I remember sitting in a coffee shop, laptop open. I had 10 tabs up. I had missed a message from someone I love. Work was piling up. And then I got an unexpected call with bad news. I didn't cry. I didn't panic. I just sat there, frozen. My chest felt like concrete. My brain was offline. That's when I realized anxiety doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like nothing. Just quiet, frozen overwhelm. And that's when I knew I needed a system, a reset plan for moments like this. When your brain detects too many stressors at once, it activates your amygdala, the emotional alarm center. That signal floods your body with cortisol and adrenaline. It shuts down non-urgent systems like focus, logic, creativity. So you might forget words mid-sentence, feel paralyzed by choices, snap at people for no reason, struggle to breathe deeply, feel exhausted but wired. This is called amygdala hijack, and your brain is doing its best to protect you. But it's reacting to perceived chaos, not actual danger. That's where your reset tools come in. The 4-step calm reset method I use. Step 1. Name the moment. Say to yourself, I'm overwhelmed, and that's okay. This reduces shame. Your body feels seen. You're signaling, I don't need to fight this. I just need to tend to it. Naming emotions reduces their intensity by nearly 50% according to research in affect labeling. Step 2. Ground your body. Before fixing anything, bring your body back online. Try one of these. Place both feet flat on the ground and press down. Rub your palms together and feel the friction. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 6. Name 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, 1 you can taste. These somatic tools lower cortisol and re-engage your thinking brain. Step 3.
Shrink the universe. When everything feels like too much, ask, what's the next small thing I can do that would help me feel safe or supported? This could be drinking a glass of water, turning off one notification, writing down your to-dos so they're not swirling in your head, texting someone, I'm a little off today, just letting you know. When your brain feels powerless, small wins are a lifeline. Step 4. Speak to yourself like you would a scared child. Imagine your anxious mind is a 6-year-old who's panicking. You wouldn't say, what's wrong with you? Get it together. You'd say, it's okay. I've got you. We're going to be okay. Practice that tone. It's not cheesy. It's reparenting. And it teaches your nervous system what safety sounds like. For years, I thought the goal was to never feel anxious again. But now I know, calm isn't the absence of anxiety, it's the ability to come back to myself. Anxiety doesn't mean I'm broken. Overwhelm doesn't mean I've failed. It just means I need care, attention, kindness, and that I have the tools to hold myself through it. Not perfectly, but fully. You do too. You don't need to outrun your mind. You just need to know how to meet it. When it's loud, when it's tired, and when it's scared. What's one tool or moment from this series that made you feel seen? Or what would you add to your personal calm toolkit? Let's build a space in the comments where we can learn from each other. You never know who your insight might help today. If you've made it here, I want you to hear this. You didn't just watch these videos. You showed up for your healing, your growth, your mind. And I'm proud of you. This isn't the end. This is your new baseline. You've learned the tools, now you can live them.